There is a stretch of dark road in Chicago where the living and the dead share the exact same passenger seat. For nearly a century, drivers along Archer Avenue have checked their rearview mirrors only to find their blood running cold. They look back to see a passenger they never invited. A passenger who should be rotting in the dirt. She appears out of the freezing mist. A beautiful young woman standing completely alone on the muddy shoulder of the road. She wears a vintage white ball gown, clutching a small purse, her dancing shoes completely ruined by the pouring rain. She climbs into your car silently, her blue eyes fixed forward, never speaking a single word about where she came from. But the moment you feel the temperature in your car plummet, the moment frost touches the glass, you realize your mistake. She points a pale, trembling finger toward the looming Gothic iron gates of Resurrection Cemetery.
Wait,
and by
where
the
is
time
she?
you slam on the brakes,
What
the
is this
passenger
water?
seat is completely empty. She has vanished into thin air. This is no internet myth. This is Chicago's most documented haunting, the legendary phantom known as Resurrection Mary. To understand why her spirit refuses to rest in peace, we have to travel back in time to the roaring 1930s. The
Look at that
Willowbrook
sign,
Ballroom,
it's magnificent.
then known as O. Henry
And the
Park,
music.
was
Shall
the
we head in,
beating,
doll?
vibrant heart of Chicago's swing-era nightlife. Thousands of young people flocked here every single weekend, desperately dancing away the crushing sorrow of the Great Depression. Among them was Mary, a beautiful, vivacious young blonde girl who loved nothing more than to dance the night away.
You think
But
you
on
can just
one
walk back
fateful
in here after
evening,
what you did?
the
I
music
won't
stopped.
stand for it.
You
A
listen to
bitter,
me, Mary.
aggressive argument broke
It was
out
never
between
that
Mary
simple.
and her date. Furious and heartbroken, Mary stormed out of the warm, crowded ballroom and into the freezing, unforgiving night storm. She decided to walk the dark, unpaved miles home, wrapping a thin white shawl around her shoulders to block the biting wind. She didn't see the glaring headlights until it was too late. A hit-and-run driver, speeding recklessly down the muddy road. The impact shattered the quiet night. The coward behind the wheel sped away, leaving Mary broken and bleeding on the wet asphalt. Her grief-stricken parents dressed her in the beautiful white dancing gown she died in, laying her to rest in Resurrection Cemetery. But Mary's story didn't end in the dirt. Her restless, angry spirit refused to accept that the dance was finally over. The horrifying sightings began almost immediately. Drivers reported nearly hitting a glowing woman who vanished right on impact. She wandered among the tombstones, a lost soul trapped halfway between her final resting place and the ballroom. And then, in 1939, a man named Jerry Pallas came face to face with the phantom of Archer Avenue. Jerry was at a local dance hall when he spotted a stunning blonde woman in a white dress standing completely alone. He asked her to dance. They waltzed across the floor all night, lost in the sweet music and the romantic atmosphere. But as Jerry held her close, a chilling realization crept over him. The beautiful girl in his arms was freezing cold. Her skin was ice cold. It felt, as he later described to paranormal researchers, exactly like the touch of a dead corpse. Ignoring his rising fear, Jerry offered to drive her home. She accepted, but directed him away from the city, toward the cemetery. The drive was eerily quiet. The streetlights flickered and died as his vintage car rolled through the heavy, oppressive fog. Suddenly,
Just up here on the left.
as they approached
past
the
neon
massive
sign.
stone
All right, I see
pillars of Resurrection Cemetery, she ordered him to stop the car immediately. Jerry slammed on the brakes. He rushed out to open her door, to help her out into the freezing cold night. But the passenger seat was totally empty. The heavy car door had never opened. She was simply, impossibly, gone. Jerry watched in absolute horror as the faint, glowing figure of the girl walked directly through the locked, solid iron gates. The next morning, shaken but determined, Jerry drove to the home address she had whispered to him earlier that night. An elderly, grieving woman answered the door, wearing a black dress. Jerry nervously asked if Mary was at home. The old woman looked at him with profound sorrow, holding up a framed photograph of the beautiful blonde dancer. "My daughter Mary cannot come to the door," the mother said softly. "She was killed in a car accident 5 years ago." Jerry's blood ran cold in his veins. The girl he had held, the girl he had danced with, was a literal ghost. Fast forward to the 1970s. The legend of Mary was about to escalate from local whispers to sheer, undeniable terror. At Harlow's nightclub,
what in the world is she wearing?
Patrons backed away in mass confusion.
Is she serious
as a pale
right
woman
now?
in a
That
faded
dress
wedding
is
gown
ancient.
danced entirely
I don't
alone.
get it.
Bouncers approached to escort her out, deeply unsettled by her powdered white skin and her unblinking, dead, vacant eyes. But as they reached out to grab her arms, she dissolved into a cloud of cold mist right in the middle of the dance floor. Down the road at Chet's Melody Lounge, a gritty dive bar facing the cemetery, the bizarre supernatural encounters continued. A furious cab driver burst through the wooden doors, demanding to know where the blonde girl in the white dress had gone. The bartender just shook his head. "No blonde girl came in here, buddy. I think you just picked up Resurrection Mary." The cabbie realized with mounting horror that his passenger had skipped out on the cab fare by vanishing into the afterlife. But the absolute most terrifying piece of physical evidence in the history of the haunting occurred in August of 1976. A terrified passing driver flagged down the local police, screaming that a young woman was locked inside the cemetery after hours. He had seen her gripping the thick bronze gates, her pale face contorted in a silent, agonizing scream for help. Squad cars raced to the scene, armed officers jumping out with heavy flashlights ready to rescue the trapped, desperate girl. But the dark cemetery was dead silent. There was no girl. There was no one inside the sprawling graveyard at all. Then, the officers shined their lights on the heavy bronze gates. What they saw made them step back in pure terror. 2 of the solid metal bars had been violently pried apart, and melted into the metal were the scorch marks of human handprints. The thick metal was physically bent outward, as if a ghost had used supernatural, demonic strength to force her way out. Cemetery management was incredibly embarrassed by the media frenzy. They quickly removed the gates and hid them away from the public. They claimed the heavy maintenance truck had accidentally backed into the gates, and a worker's blowtorch caused the scorch marks. But no one who saw those small, blackened human handprints ever believed the official story. Mary had broken out. But who was Resurrection Mary, really? For decades, historians and paranormal detectives have tried to solve the mystery. Was she Anna Norkus? A 12-year-old blonde girl killed in a horrific auto accident on Harlem Avenue in 1927. Anna was killed instantly. Her father's car plunged 25 feet into a massive, unmarked railroad ditch in the dead of night. Some researchers believe that due to a gravedigger's strike, Anna's body was temporarily stored at Resurrection Cemetery. Without proper refrigeration, her body decomposed rapidly. Was she mislaid? Is her lost spirit forever searching for her father? Or was she Mary Bregovi, a 21-year-old who died in a brutal car crash in downtown Chicago in 1934? Mary Bregovi was actually buried at Resurrection Cemetery, and sightings of the ghost began just 1 month after her tragic death. But there's a major problem. Eyewitnesses swear the ghost is blonde. Historical records show Mary Bregovi had dark brown hair. Then there is Mary Kovac, a blonde, fashionable dancer from the same neighborhood, who died of tuberculosis in 1932. Did the trauma of sudden death merge their stories? Is Resurrection Mary just one ghost, or a terrifying amalgamation of tragedy? Whatever the historical truth is, Mary doesn't care about history books. She only cares about getting a ride home. In 1989, a woman named Janet Kalong was driving down Archer Avenue when a glowing figure stepped directly into her path. Janet slammed on the brakes, screaming as the pale girl in the white dress vanished right through the hood of her car. There was no impact, no heavy bump, just the terrifying realization that she had driven straight through a phantom. Even today, as the world moves into the modern digital age, Mary absolutely refuses to be left behind in the past. Across the street from the silent graveyard, a bizarre tradition lives on at Chet's Melody Lounge. Every Sunday, without fail, the bartender pours a spicy Bloody Mary and places it at the very end of the wooden bar. He leaves the corner stool completely empty. It's a reserved seat, patiently waiting for a ghost to finally claim her drink. Sometimes, brave patrons will put a quarter in the jukebox and play the Ballad of Resurrection Mary. They drink and they listen, looking out the dusty window at the wrought iron cemetery gates, waiting for a ghostly sign, because Mary is still out there. Modern Uber and Lyft drivers tell the exact same horrifying stories the cabbies told in the 30s. A pickup request on a dark road, a woman in vintage clothes, a sudden bone-chilling drop in the car's temperature. She wanders among the 150,000 graves, a prisoner of her own tragic, violent, untimely demise. She is caught in an endless, terrifying loop, forever trying to get home from a dance that ended 90 years ago. Leaving absolutely no footprints in the freshly fallen snow, she walks to the edge of the cemetery, looking out at the living. Will you be the next driver to pass by? Will you be the one to finally give her the ride she's been waiting for? Imagine pulling over on a dark, lonely night. You check your phone. The rideshare app says your passenger is here. You look in your side mirror and see her standing there. Pale skin, dead blue eyes, a white dress ruined by the rain. You unlock the doors. You feel the freezing, unnatural air rush into your heated car. You nervously ask for her name. She doesn't answer you. She just points a trembling, ice-cold finger toward Archer Avenue, towards the silent graves. Would you drive her? Or would you step on the gas and leave her standing in the dark, crying in the freezing rain? The legend of Resurrection Mary is much more than just a campfire ghost story. It is a monument to unresolved, eternal grief. It is the blackened scorch mark on the iron gate of our collective memory. A dark reminder that some souls simply cannot let go. She stands in the middle of the road, defying logic, defying science, defying the strict laws of time itself. Her sorrowful blue eyes pierce through the veil of death, seeking desperate comfort from strangers passing in the night. She holds out her thumb, a silent, terrifying plea to the living to recognize her pain, to acknowledge her unfinished life. If you see her glowing in the beam of your high beams, do not stop. Keep driving. Do not ever look back, because once she gets into your car, the horrifying chill of the grave will never truly leave your bones. You will watch the temperature gauge drop rapidly. You will see your panicked breath fog the windshield in the middle of summer. You might even find a forgotten white purse left on your back seat, smelling of old rain and wilted, dead flowers. A physical artifact from a phantom. Horrifying proof that the veil between this world and the next is dangerously thin. And when you throw it out the window in sheer terror, you will realize that you can never unsee what you have seen. You have officially become a part of the legend. Another terrified eyewitness in a 90-year-old tragic mystery. The O. Henry Ballroom tragically burned to the ground in 2016. The physical place where Mary's story began is gone forever in ashes. But Mary doesn't need a ballroom to keep dancing. She dances in the darkest nightmares of the drivers on Archer Avenue. She dances in the endless folklore of Chicago, outliving the very buildings and paved roads where she once walked. Paranormal researchers will keep digging through dusty ledgers, trying to put a definitive historical name to the ghost. They will argue over Anna and Mary Bregovi and Mary Kovac. They will search endlessly for the ultimate truth. But the historical truth is completely irrelevant to the phantom. The ghost does not care about death certificates or census records. The ghost only knows that it is freezing cold, that it is very late, and that she desperately wants to go home. Over 150,000 souls rest peacefully in Resurrection Cemetery, but only one refuses to stay buried. Only one leaves her unmarked grave to wander the earth, night after night, decade after terrifying decade. She kneels in the muddy dirt, mourning the long life she was violently robbed of, the future she never got to live. And then she stands, drawn back to the black asphalt, drawn back to the glaring headlights of the passing cars. Archer Avenue has modernized. It is paved and lined with bright streetlights and fast food restaurants and gas stations. But right outside those cemetery gates, it is always 1930. It is always freezing cold. It is always raining. If you walk past those Gothic gates at night, you can feel the heavy, oppressive weight of thousands of watchful, dead eyes. But one pair of pale eyes is looking right at you, patiently waiting for you to offer her a ride in your car. Dozens of motorists have sworn on their very lives that they saw her. Police officers, cab drivers, ordinary, sane people. They gain absolutely nothing from lying. They only gain public ridicule. Yet they tell the story anyway, because it is true. So the next time you find yourself driving alone on a dark, desolate road in the dead of the night, the next time the fog rolls in thick and your headlights can barely cut through the oppressive, heavy gloom, pay extremely close attention to the side of the road. Pay close attention to the shadows moving quietly in the trees, because Resurrection Mary is still out there waiting. She is still hitchhiking. She is still looking for a way home. And if you hear the passenger door click open when you absolutely know you locked it, don't look over. Keep your terrified eyes on the road. Grip the steering wheel tightly and pray that you make it past the cemetery gates alive. Because if you don't, you might just become her ghostly dance partner for the rest of eternity. If this chilling true legend kept you awake tonight, hit that subscribe button right now. Join us as we uncover the darkest, most terrifying urban legends and true ghost stories the world has ever seen. From vanished hitchhikers to haunted asylums, we bring the absolute best of the paranormal right to your screen. Do you believe in ghosts? Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you would do if Mary got in your car. Until next time, keep your doors securely locked, stay in the light, and never, ever pick up strangers on Archer Avenue.